Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's edition of Talk of the Town. I'm glad to be here. I know you're glad to be here, and I'm also glad because I love starting our show off with people that I haven't either seen in a long time or I'm seeing in new capacity or for the first time. And it's not the first time, we just squared that away, but it's been a long time and he's in a new capacity, and so we're going to swing this camera around and introduce you to somebody that we've not had on the show in a long time, and we now have in a different capacity. This is Thomas Manning, and he's the marketing coordinator for the Cleveland County Arts Council. Glad to have you on the show.
Oh, thanks so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
And for Sharon Miller, there's always something happening at the Arts Council. So I know she'll have to watch the show. That'll make her smile.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, glad to have you.
Yeah. Well, I'm really happy to be here.
Now, you were here in a different capacity years ago. We've squared that away. So tell us all about how long you've been marketing coordinator and what that means for you.
Yeah. So since last December, coming up on a year now, I've been at the Arts Council as the marketing coordinator. Violet Arth was the marketing coordinator for 19 years and had big shoes to fill. And I've come in and kind of have learned a lot of stuff on the fly. And at the Arts Council, we have a new exhibit or event about every 6 weeks. And unless you've been through that cycle before, you don't always know what to expect. But like I said, coming up on a year now, and so I've been through just about a complete cycle. And it's just really a beautiful community. You get to meet so many wonderful people who are passionate about the arts, not just in Cleveland County, but across the state and across the country. It's just a really wonderful environment to be in.
It is, and like you say, I know Violet's done this for a long
Right.
time, and she probably had it down to just, okay, I could do this.
Yeah.
But it's all new to you, or it
That's
has
right.
been for the first year, hadn't it?
That's right, yeah. And we were talking a little bit about this before recording. We had the Reel to Reel Film Festival a few months ago, and very pleased with how that went in my first year. And a few other things we've had, the Treasures of the Earth pottery exhibit, Bowling for Dollars, one of our big fundraisers. And you can learn something new with each one of these you do, and make a new connection with somebody and learn someone else's story.
All right, and it's all, and some of it does repeat. Like I say, the cycle does. I'm sure you're probably already thinking about the next reel to reel because people start submitting the shorts and start the films, and so it's some things just have a life of their own, but then there's always something new, isn't there? Even if it's the same event, there's always something new to it.
Yeah, exactly. Like one of those that I know we're going to be talking about here in a little bit. We have the champagne shopping and charcuterie holiday party this year, and we always have a holiday party, but this is our first time branding it as that. So it's going to be a little bit different, but still, kind of keep the spirit of what we've done in years past.
All right. Well, I know that it is Christmas, or it's people say, no, it's not. We haven't had Thanksgiving yet, but that's the way it works. So we get it blends all together now, and we go straight from Halloween to thinking about Christmas. But it is that time of year when we are starting to think about gifts. We are starting to think about what are we going to do, special events that are coming up, celebrating the holidays, and it does sort of get mixed together. And I know you guys have some special things that are coming up for the holidays. You've mentioned one of them already, but just sort of walk through first the exhibit that you're going to have, the handmade for the holidays. Tell us a little bit about that, because I know I have people on my list who are hard to buy for and seem to have everything, but you've got some pretty unique stuff.
That's right, yeah. So actually, Handmade for the Holidays last year is right when I was starting. That's where I did a lot of my holiday shopping as well for family and friends. And so basically, it's an exhibit in our gallery from about 30 plus artists throughout Cleveland County have contributed something that we have in our holiday exhibit. From, you got hats, all sorts of stocking stuffers, you got jams, you got jellies, you got scarves, you got paintings and pottery, and it's just a great place for you to come walk around. And we've got the gallery all decorated. Incredible team of volunteers that worked on that a few weeks ago, and it looks like you come in, it looks like Clark Griswold's Wonderland in there. It's he would be right at home there, and so it's a great place to just hang out, but also everything that we have there is for sale as well from local artists, and it's just a great place to come, and you'll always find something for somebody on your list. So.
Now, is the sleeve from Clark's shirt hanging from one of the? That's pretty cool. Yeah. Oh man, I know, because and people are sitting there thinking, wait, I think he said jams and jellies. there's things that are at homemade for the holidays that people might not expect because they may be thinking, oh, well, it's only a painting. No, it's not. You mentioned a lot of things like pottery, jams, jellies, hats.
Yeah.
I heard hats and scarves and things. I mean, there's a little bit of everything in there.
Yeah, we got some stained glass art, some mosaic art. So I think you will not have trouble finding something for somebody there for sure.
That's true, and it's one of those things that I do. I have some difficult people to buy for on my list, and it never fails. There's something unique and off the wall enough to where I can find something there. And then there's the traditional things that you would imagine for art. But the nice thing about it that you said, Cleveland County. These are things that have been made right here in our and brought in for sale, and you're supporting our local economy and the folks that live here among us, our family and friends.
Yeah, so anything that you buy from there just comes from a few miles down the road, and you're supporting your community, and you're supporting your artistic community, and family and friends are directly feeling the positive impacts of what you're participating in there.
Right, and it's amazing. It's really amazing to come and see what has been created by your family, friends, and neighbors.
Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing. So we have some talented people living in this county.
We truly do.
It's amazing. Now, I know now tell us when that starts, because I know I've got it here, but I don't have the dates by it.
Yeah.
So tell us the dates of when that's going to begin.
Yeah, so that started on November 14th.
Oh, so we're up and running.
We sure are. And
Up and running.
Runs
Nice.
until December 23rd. And it's free of admission to come in and look around. We're open Monday through Fridays from 9 to 4. And then on December Fridays, we're going to be open from 9 to 7. And then we're also open on Saturdays from 10 to 2.
There you go. And that's in December.
That's right.
Is that now? Is the Saturday? That's not during the year, is it?
Actually, no, Saturdays
It
we
is.
are open 10 to 2.
I don't think I realized that.
That's
See,
right.
I learned something
Yeah,
new
there
today.
you go.
Taught me something new. And we'll come back to that in a minute because I know people are going to want to know the schedule and how to get that information. But that's not the only thing you're doing. Tell us about the champagne
Yeah.
and charcuterie and shopping. Or,
Yeah.
oh, reverse it. Champagne, shopping, and charcuterie.
it.
Tell us about it.
Yes, that's going to be on December 5th from 5 to 7 p.m. That's a Thursday, and that is free of admission. It's our holiday party. Plenty of time for fellowship. There's going to be some live piano music, plenty of good food there as well, some hors d'oeuvres, and also our Handmade for the Holidays will be open. So it's just a wonderful time to bring a lot of people in there to participate in fellowship with the community and take a look at some of the art that we have available for purchase.
That's awesome. And that's going to be happening on Thursday, December 5th.
That's right,
All
Thursday,
right.
December 5th.
Open to anybody that wants to come.
That's correct.
That's great. Now, I know that sort of kicks everything off, doesn't it? I mean, officially. You're already open for Handmade for the Holidays, but that's really the time when people start really thinking seriously about Christmas, isn't it?
Yeah, that's when you're really getting on the ground and getting running there.
Yep. Now, I know that's going to be going on. All of these wonderful things are going to be happening through Christmas, but that's not all that's going to go. That's happening at the Arts Council. But there's always something happening at the Arts Council. And you've got a really big event coming up in January, don't you?
Yeah, that's right. The Big Chill Casino Night. It's a fan favorite event here. We had it for many years prior to COVID, but then after COVID for a few years, it kind of took a step back, but we got back into it last year. And we're holding it over at the Country Club. That's on January 25th this year we're having it. And it's one of our biggest fundraising events of the year for the Arts Council. And, we have all sorts of card games. You got the blackjack, the roulette, the craps. You got the poker tournament as well, and a 50-50 raffle. So it's a really unique event. It's very unique compared to what we do the rest of the year at the Arts Council, but it does bring in a really, really awesome crowd of people who just like to have fun and support our organization.
Mm. And you hit the nail on the head with that. This is a truly unique event
Yeah,
for the Arts Council, and really for Cleveland County. I don't know of any other event that captures that feel and that environment of being in a casino as well as this does. And it's not just in a casino, it's like you've stepped into a James Bond movie. Because everybody's dressed up and everybody's like putting on the show, and it's It's really cool. You can almost hear the James Bond theme in the background
Yeah.
as you're walking around in there. But it's a really, really unique event, and it is different from anything that you guys do during the rest of the year, isn't it?
Right, yeah, and we've in past years had it at the Arts Council, but as of last year started having it at the Country Club, which is, they're very gracious host over there and
Right.
great setup for us.
Right, and it's now, is that something that people would need to get tickets for in advance, or?
Oh yes, you can purchase tickets. You can call the Arts Council. I think you probably have our phone number, but it's 704-484-2787, and purchase tickets in advance.
And can they do that already, or is it too early to do that, or?
Now you can go ahead and start purchasing
'Cause
tickets.
I was
now.
going to say
Yeah.
these things sell out.
Right.
This is
Right,
one.
they sure do.
This is one of those events that people mark on their calendar because they were like, "Oh, I was that close to winning it all last year." Because not only are you supporting the Arts Council, and not only is it going to a really good cause to support all these local artists and the events, and the different displays that you guys have during the year. I want to say displays, but there's a better word for that. That you do during the year, but it's just a whole lot of fun. It's just a lot of fun to go in because we don't typically go to do this sort of thing, and so it's nice to dress up one night and go in and really have a good time with this. And people you can just see it on their faces. They're walking around having such a good time.
Yeah, I mean, just black suit and tie affair, and everybody just having a great time. So
That's it. Got to get you tucked so you look like you've got to look the part.
yeah, right.
So I know that we've talked a lot of things here, and I know people are going, I don't remember all these dates and times and things. How can people get more information?
Yeah, so the best place right now, go to our Facebook page of facebook.com/Cleveland County Arts Council, and we're consistently on a daily basis updating upcoming events, exhibits, and classes that we offer there as well.
Fabulous. And thank you so much for being on our show. And of course, you realize you have to come back.
Oh, I'll just say the word and I'll be there.
Always something happening at the Arts Council. All right. Well, glad to have you. Happy Thanksgiving, Merry Christmas, and Happy New Year in case you don't get back before then. And thank you for being on our show today.
Thanks so much for having me.
And thank you for being here for the first part of our show, but you can't leave because there's more. So if you have to get up and go to the refrigerator, you have to come back because there's more talk of the town right after this.
Killing people dying, children hurt and you hear them crying. Can you practice what you preach and would you turn the other cheek?
How you doing today, ma'am?
Father, help us and some guidance from above. These people got me questioning. Where is the love? Where is the love? Where is the love? Where is the love?
The only prediction I'd make is I'd be pretty willing to bet I won't be doing it in 20 more years.
My question is, where's our residual checks?
144 have taken Republican ballots, and Wes and two others have taken Libertarian ballots.
Pravda, however, TBS, however.
Wes.
Wes.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Talk of the Town. Glad to see you there. I'm sure you're so happy to see me, but nowhere near as happy as you're going to be to see my next guest because she's never been on our show before. So you're getting to meet somebody new today. So you get to swing the camera around and get to introduce you to Miss Kenzie Elmore. And she is a licensed clinical social worker for Contegra and holds the title there of lead clinical supervisor, but she also works here at Cleveland Community College. She is a school behavioralist for the college, and she provides counseling services for students right here at CCC. And I know that's a mouthful, but that's because you're so important.
Well,
I knew you
appreciate
were going to shake that head.
Not so important, but I do enjoy the many hats I wear. So
You
it's
do
an
wear a
honor.
lot of hats, and,
Yeah.
and they are important hats.
Yes,
So
yes.
we're so
Thank
glad
you.
to have you on the show for the
Well, thank
first
you.
time.
Thank you,
Now,
thank you.
I hope you read the fine print because, because
maybe.
see,
Okay.
if you didn't know, once you sit on the red chair,
Oh,
you
yeah.
have to agree to come back.
Oh, okay. Well, I think I can do that.
You think you can?
Yeah,
Okay,
as long
all
as
right.
you'll have me back after this,
Well,
if that's okay.
I don't think that's going to be a problem.
Okay. All right, we'll see.
I like you already.
Well, thank you.
That's pretty cool. Anyway, now I know that that's a mouthful. So
Yeah,
tell us in
yeah.
a nutshell, what do you do? How long have you done it, and why do you do it?
Yeah, well, thank you for asking that question. So, I'm a licensed clinical social worker. I've been doing that for a little over about 10 years, but I've worked in behavioral health longer than that. And so I've been in many different settings, providing therapy services. I've been in inpatient behavioral health. I've worked in the prison system before in community mental health, but I've been working with Contegra for over 3 years now, and I've been providing school-based services. Contegra is a federally qualified health center, and we're designed to fill in the gaps in our community. And so you may see us around town. We have different services in this area. I know we've had some dental services working on opening up. We have medical clinics in this area, and so behavioral health is just one of those other avenues that we work to fill in the gap. And so a lot of what I do is I provide therapy services to students here on site. You know, they have very busy schedules with balancing class and work and their lives. And so the idea is that they don't have to leave for an appointment. They can come see me in between sessions. It can be focused around school needs, but as we know, there's a lot of other things that go on in life that affect how we function at school. And so we talk about a lot of things that come up, you know, family needs, pressures, stress, and, you know, if they have a mental health diagnosis, that's something that I can diagnose and talk to them and provide them education about maybe what they're experiencing and how it impacts their functioning to help support their goals of completing their education and empowering them through that process. So that's a lot of what I do. The other part is I just really enjoy talking to the students here. I love working with them, and so it's really a pleasure to get to spend time with them every day.
Oh, that is awesome.
Yeah,
They're
thank
lucky
you.
to have you.
Thank you.
It's so good to have you here as well, because I
Thank
can
you.
tell that you have that quality about you that really sort of extends that you care and
thank
that you
you.
want to invest.
Yeah.
And that is so important. I've
Yeah.
taught here for 22 years,
Yeah.
and one of the things that I found out, and I'm actually still teaching some online
Yeah.
courses through Cleveland.
Okay.
Usually what I find to be the issue, and I'm see if this is probably something that you've run into as well, if someone's having trouble in the class, it's almost never because they're having trouble with the material.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
because of something that's happening outside that's putting pressure on them, that is stressing them and
Yeah.
keeping them from being able to do the things they need to do in class, because their attentions are being diverted elsewhere, either because of the way they feel or something that's happening in their life. And I think that's where you step in, isn't it?
Yeah. That's kind of my role, is when we're seeing that there's this struggle with balance and pressure and stress, and the skills that they usually have to manage that may just not be enough. They might have really good coping skills and this ability to process things, but sometimes life is happening so big that the things we usually do don't really necessarily work for us, and so we kind of may need layers of support. And so that's where kind of my role comes in, because a lot of times I see the same thing too. Like, these students are very capable, very knowledgeable, but when life is happening and you're feeling like this stress and like almost like this safety, we talk a lot with trauma, where it feels like a saber-toothed tiger is chasing you, and sometimes stress can feel like that. It's like a form of trauma, and so we can almost feel like something's chasing us. It's going to be hard to slow down and sit and work on my math homework or my biology or, you know, this specific class when I feel like I can't even sit still because I don't feel safe. So, you know, there's a lot that comes up about that, and I do
Right.
see that a lot for students.
Right.
Yeah.
Now I know that you say you're open to all the students who are on campus. Do you have an office here that you operate from?
I do. I kind of joke with the students usually when I go out to speak to them. I'm like, everyone likes to fix their hair in my mirrors because I'm located in the library and you can find me there. My office is usually the one with some reflective mirrors. But I am here on campus. I am in the library. The best way to make an appointment with me is to email me. Sometimes you can catch my door open, but because students' schedules tend to be, you have all different schedules. So I try to schedule in a way that works around their needs and their schedule. So sometimes it's hard to catch me with my door open, but they can make an appointment with me at any time.
And sometimes it's just as simple, I've noticed, as someone not really understanding how to balance the things that are happening in their life. For instance, if you've got a student who's an athlete, I'll get an email saying, between my schedule of training and playing games and working, how am I how do I, they keep getting behind, like, how do I find time to do all of, they're just having a hard time just making the pegs fit in the holes. And it could be that that's something that you could help with, isn't it?
Yeah, because sometimes we all have these lenses. I explain to students a lot of times, we all have a lens that's shaped from our experiences. Like, we're wearing these invisible lenses everywhere we go. And a lot of times our lenses are shaped by our family systems, our social systems, our life experience. And the way that we see things and how we experience things, we're looking through our lens. Sometimes therapy is beneficial because what it does is it's a space to just openly talk without judgment and to expand that lens a little bit and have someone else hear what's coming up for us, what challenges we're being faced with, and maybe looking at it from a different lens and opening us up to other perspectives, sometimes helping us look at it and almost like play Tetris with our schedules of like, what's most important for me to do, what can I move where, and how can I balance it. So I feel like that is a lot of what I do in therapy.
I think so too. Yeah, because just talking about it helps, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Just talking it out
Yeah.
really does help. And just the realization that, yes, I'm intelligent, but I don't know everything.
Yes.
There's some people that just can't grasp the fact that, well, I can do this. Why can't I create a schedule? Why can't I organize myself? And it's just being able to realize that there's nothing wrong with you if you're not able to do everything, but you can get some help doing those things is, I think, really beneficial sometimes too.
Yeah. And honestly, the answers don't come from me. It usually comes from the students I see.
Right.
Like I say, I'm not an advice giver, but they have the answers within them. And so sometimes just the act of talking about it, I can see a light bulb shift, like, oh yeah, I've said that out loud and something's changed, or or we've talked a little bit more and they realize something in that process. And just being able to say it out loud to someone and know that, like, I have this space, you can almost see a shift for people just in that process.
And I've always said there's power in the spoken word. There's power in sitting down and actually speaking and hearing yourself tell that to someone else. There's a perspective shift in you that happens when you actually say it to someone else, because you hear yourself saying that and then you process it differently. And it is. I mean, people that are struggling with things who are like, well, I couldn't go talk to her. Oh, yes, they can, and they should. They really should come to the office with the mirrors.
Come see me.
Come
I
see
enjoy
look at yourself in
visitors.
the mirrors. That is awesome. I got to go check out your mirrors.
Oh, thank you.
You got me curious about that. Now, I know that we're one of the things we're going to talk about today is the fact that this is Christmas. This is Thanksgiving. This is New Year's. This is the time when everybody's supposed to be joyous and happy and singing and cheerful, right? Everybody's cheerful, right?
For the most part, sometimes we do have some of that. We do have joy and cheerfulness, but in actuality, there are a lot of people that the same things that maybe bring joy to some don't bring joy to everyone.
Right.
Yeah.
And going into the holidays sometimes can be really stressful for people because of any number of things. They could have had a loved one pass this year. They could have family situations that aren't the greatest. They could have, things that make them look at the holidays and have a completely different reaction to the Christmas countdown than other people are having, right?
Correct. Yeah. I think that sometimes there's a lot of expectations and pressures around this time of year. And we have some things that we schedule as far as like a part of the holiday celebration. We have traditions or gift giving or parties, and some people look at that and they say, okay, great, I look forward to this. Some people see that as something different for them. They may see it as that's going to be very overstimulating for me and being around that many people, or I'm already financially strapped. I don't know how I'm going to afford to take a plate to this party or buy a gift for my loved ones. I can barely make ends meet. I think that's a challenge that a lot of people are facing. And so those things that may have some connection to like bring that cheer, we don't necessarily see some of the struggles that people are facing around those traditions of that we've passed along. But it does happen for people, and it happens actually quite a bit.
I was going to say it is much more common than people would guess. There's a lot of people who just put the happy face on, so to speak, but they're really not experiencing what their face is showing.
Yes.
And I know I've got some folks in mind right now that I'm thinking they're already dreading, everything to do with Christmas,
Yes.
and can't wait for January to be here already.
Yes.
But you would never know. But
Yeah.
but they're really feeling that, and I think it's really important for people to know it's okay to be that way.
Yeah.
It's okay to not have that that expected response to Christmas.
Yes. I think that that's one of the biggest challenges, honestly, is this acceptance of it's okay not to be okay, and acknowledging that first and foremost, because we place a lot of expectations on ourselves, or we might feel that other people place expectations on us as well around this time of year. And rightfully so, but at the same point, it may be that maybe they're not placing the expectations, we're placing the expectations on what it should look like. And so first being able to acknowledge like it's okay not to be okay this time of year. It's actually the majority of, I think it was the National Alliance of Mental Illness had a statistic of people with a mental health diagnosis. 64% of people with a mental health diagnosis experience more stress during the holidays. And I can about guarantee that number is probably higher, because some people, because of that expectation, they won't share that they're struggling or having a hard time. And so that's a pretty, to have 64%, that's a pretty solid number saying, hey, it's over half the people
It's over
that
half the people
experience this.
are experiencing that, rather than the cheerful.
Yeah. So they can always reach out to me via email. Like I said, I'm in the library. You can look for my mirrors. But that's the best way to reach me. And if they ever want to find out more about Contegra, it's www.contegra.org. They can always look up what our services are there as well, too.
Well, thank you so much for being on our show
Thank you.
today.
I really appreciate this time. And if it's okay, I'd love to come back to the red
Oh,
chair
it's
sometime.
absolutely okay. Yes, the red chair is yours, reserved
Okay,
already.
awesome.
And we also need some more people in the red chairs, but the way we get them there is through story ideas. So what I need from you folks is to see this email address right here across the bottom of the screen. info@c19.tv is how you can let us know what you already know, the wonderful things that are happening right here in Cleveland County. But how we get those people in these chairs is by your suggestions. So send us those emails and let us know what you know. And until next time, this is Steve Putnam signing off saying, have a wonderful week.